is Xiaohui. I started to go into letterpress printing in 2009 when I was still a visual communication student. So there was a module on craftsmanship. I chose letterpress printing and I was very fascinated with it. So I started a studio Typesetting SG in 2014 to pass down the process of traditional letterpress, its culture, history and heritage to the younger audience. So as a visual communication student with totally no background in printing, I bought a lot of the letterpress course book and I reached out to a lot of the letterpress printer in the West, in the Europe and the US. And I started to buy metal types. So a lot of my types were actually from the US initially. And later on, when I really go into our own printing industry in Singapore, I start to realize there's still actually a lot, not say a lot, but there's still some of the printing heritage, the printing press, the types, they are still with the old printing shops. So over the years, the studio start to slowly accumulate the printing equipment setup, the presses. The number of print shops that are still engaging in letterpress printing is actually getting a lot lesser. There are still a few old shops that are still engaging in letterpress printing. A few old print shops still do numbering and invoicing as using their old traditional printing press. So these are some of the fonts that I saved last year from an old print shop called Jet Print Services. So this is a name card font. So traditionally in olden days, when the printers are done with the print jobs, if it's a regular customer, they actually tied it up so they don't have to put the text back and redo the whole process again. So this is been tied up and put onto the galley cabinet. So when the client comes back, they can just take it out and print in the printing press and they can do the printings. So I'll be printing an old business card. I'll transfer the design onto the center. Then I'll fill it up with this thing called the furniture in different length and width. Start to fill all this. And then the top part as well. So I'll lock with this called the coin key with a set of coin. A coin is actually an expanding device. And then we double check. Okay, and that's good for the press. Okay. So the next step is to ink the press on this thing called the ink disc. Okay, I'll be using the ink, oil-based ink. Then after that, we'll be spreading out the ink with a cell roller. So when I do this motion, I press down, the roller goes up, you start to slowly spread out the ink. The ink disc will turn by like 5 to 10 degrees. So we'll do a couple of rounds. So once the ink is evenly spread out, it's good for the printing. Then we'll lock it up. Then after that, we'll be doing the test run of the inking. So we go all the way up, we leave around 2 finger space, and then we go down, and we ensure everything is inked in black. After that, we go all the way and press to get our test print. So in this case, there's a lot of things that we need to adjust. this would be the standard type case with the lowercase on the left, uppercase on the right. So the typesetter will use this thing called the composing stick on the left hand, and then put a leading on top, and it will start picking up the letters like this in mirror image. And once it's done with the sentence, you will use this thing called the spacers to fill up the entire negative space. So the smallest size of font that we have in the studio is 6 point, but the smallest it can go is all the way to 4 point. Okay, so back in olden days, not all print shop has the financial to buy the entire Chinese font. So a lot of the smaller print shop, what they do is actually they buy a set of small common use characters, and then as their project grows, they also accumulate the Chinese types. And a lot usually they just focus on one industry. Like example for this type case, this is for my assume this will be from the wedding and funeral industry. You can see some of the characters that relate to the wedding. So this is another interesting item. It's called a flong. A flong is actually a paper kind mold that was used to cast a circular metal plate for the newspaper printing. So how it's been done is you first typeset all your content, and you have a paper to be pressed with the hydraulic press to achieve this indentation, deboss finishing. With this, they'll curve into a circular shape, and after that they'll do the casting. They pump the melted metal to do the casting of the metal plate that will be mounting onto the printing press to do the printing. Okay, so like example, this is a 1967 Central Ribao, one of the page. Because it's a one-off use, not much of this actually survive. It will just be discarded on the same day once they're done with the printing. So this will be the kind of two different kind of typesetting layout for the Chinese during the late 70s and early 80s. We have the traditional one whereby it's top to bottom, right to left, and then we have the more modern one, which is the left to right, just left to right only on the layout. So here we have 4 different language specimen book. Start off with, we have the English specimen from the Caslon Foundry. So this will be the kind of standard typeface we used locally back then for some of the print shop. Okay, as well as the ornaments at the back. Okay, and then next we have the Chinese. So this is catalog from a Chinese type foundry in Hong Kong. It's called 朴文注册有限公司, imported by Wang Fuhua. Okay, so this is actually a specimen book that contain all the individual characters. So the printer will actually go in and circle like which character you want to buy. So one thing is quite interesting is that you types are classified into 2. One is called 粗俗, which is the common character, and then another one will be called 入俗, which will be one of the uncommon characters. Okay, so this is the Chinese specimen. Next we have the demo from the Indian. The demo specimen book. This is from India. Okay, so it has all the different demo in different way, different size and style. And they even have the italic, as small as the headphone. Okay, and the last of all, we have the Malay, the Jawi. So this is a catalog from MPH. It's the MPH that we know that has no more physical store in Singapore. So this is a specimen for their Nino type matrices. Okay, but within this, it contains a page of the Jiahui specimen. So the earliest Jiahui Nino type caster was in 1920s. Okay, so the most precious book that we have in the studio is actually this exercise book, like a jotter book. At the back, you still have your line to timetable as well. Okay, so what makes this book special is because this is a manually cut specimen book where the printer actually printed every single character and paste according to the typecase layout. So one page is a typecase. If you notice, like example, the Ke has 4 compartments. That means we use a lot of these characters. So the seldom used character will only be one compartment. So you see, every page is all manually cut and paste by the printer. Letterpress is actually a very fascinating invention in process, and in fact in Singapore it's actually like a jigsaw puzzle. There are still a lot of missing pieces to fill in. So I hope that there will be more people coming forward to help to fill up the puzzle, because we do have a lot of printing history on the 19th century, but what about the 20th century? What kind of printing press we use, the matrices, who designed all these matrices? So these are all the missing pieces that I hope that there will be more people coming in to help to fill up.